Hi guys! Welcome sa ENGINERDMATH channel. Sa video na to ay magre-review tayo for Engineering Sciences Board Exam under GEAS or ESAS for Engineering Mechanics Dynamics. So kung gusto nyo itong matutunan, just keep on watching. Okay, so this time ay magre-review ulit tayo for Engineering Sciences Board Exam under GEAS or ESAS for the topic Engineering Mechanics Dynamics. So, magsasagot ulit tayo ng sets of questions. Let's start with question number 1. If a particle's position is given by the expression x of t is equal to 3.4 t cubed minus 5.4 t meters, what is the acceleration of the particle after t equals 5 seconds? Okay, so given tayo ng equation ng motion, yung position ng particle as a function of time t equal to x of t equal to 3.4 t cubed minus 5.4 t. So, hanapin daw natin yung acceleration ng particle after t equals 5 seconds. So, apply natin dito yung relationship na yung derivative nitong position x of t ng particle. So, let's say derivative of x with respect to time is equal sa velocity. And then, yung derivative nitong velocity with respect to time is equal to acceleration. Or, ibig sabihin, itong acceleration is equal sa second derivative nitong x of t with respect to time. So, ibig sabihin, hahanapin natin yung function a by getting the second derivative of x of t with respect to t. So, gawin natin. So, first derivative muna, x prime of t is equal to, so, derivative lang natin term by term. So, power formula lang naman, right? So, yung derivative ng 3.4 t cube is 3.4, baba yung exponent ni t na 3, then t raised to minus 1 yung exponent. So, 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay? Minus ito naman derivative ng 5.4t. So, magiging 5.4 na lang, right? So, simplifying this, we have x prime of t is equal to 3.4 times 3 is 10.2. Then, t squared minus 5.4. Okay? And then, isa pang derivative. So, second derivative nitong x prime of t, applying product formula term by term ulit. So, magiging derivative ng 10.2 times t squared is 10.2 times 2. Then, bawasan na yung exponent ng t, magiging t raised to 2 minus 1 or simply t. Minus, derivative ng constant, this time is just 0. So, therefore, x double prime of t will be 10.2 times 2 times t is 20.4t. So, ito na rin ngayon yung a of t natin equal sa x double prime of t which is 20.4t. So, para makuha natin yung value ng acceleration at t equals 5 seconds, substitute lang natin yung t dito. So, a of 5 is equal to 20.4 times 5 is equal to 102. The unit will be, dahil meter tayo, meter per second square. Okay, so the answer is letter B. Okay? Next, we have an automobile moving at a constant velocity of 15 meter per second passes a gasoline station. 2 seconds later, another automobile leaves the gasoline station and accelerates at a constant rate of 2 meter per second square. How soon will the second automobile overtake the first? Okay, so rectilinear motion. So, draw natin yung figure para ma-visualize natin. So, let's say meron tayong 2 cars, right? So, let's say car 1. Okay, car 1. And then, meron tayong car 2. So, yung car 1 daw is nagmo-move at a constant velocity. So, let's say V1, 15 meter per second. Tapos, nag-pass through siya dito sa gasoline station. Let's say, ito yung gasoline station natin. Gasoline station. So, nag-pass through siya dyan. So, let's say, nag-pass through siya dito sa gasoline station. Then, after 2 seconds, meron din daw nag-stop dito sa ating gasoline station, which is itong ang car 2. Okay? Car 2. And then, nag-accelerate siya at a constant rate of 2 meter per second square. So, acceleration, let's say, A sub 2, nitong car 2 is 2 meter per second square. So, ibig sabihin yung initial velocity ng car 2, let's say, V2 is 0. Kasi, from 0, nung nag-stop siya, nag-accelerate siya at a constant acceleration na 2 meter per second square. So, nangyari yon at time T2. Which is dapat 2 seconds less than dito sa time na travel na ni car 1. Kasi nauna siya, right? Etong car 2 is na late ng 2 seconds bago mag-pass dito sa gasoline station. So, let's say, kung T1 natin yung time for car 1, yung relationship nung total time traveled nila nitong car 1 tsaka car 2 is bale, yung T1 is 2 seconds more than the time nitong T2. Okay? So, ang tanong is, how soon will the second automobile overtake the first? So, let's say, ito yung overtaking point na yon. So, dito sila magmi-meet. So, ibig sabihin, dapat mag-i-equal yung distance traveled nila. Right? So, distance ni car 1, let's say D1, at distance ni car 2, let's say D2. So, paano natin marirelate ngayon yung mga distance nila in terms of time? So, dahil yung car 1 ay may constant velocity, so pwede natin gamitin yung formula sa distance as distance is equal to velocity times time, right? So, therefore, d sub 1, yung distance nitong car 1 will be yung velocity niya, which is constant 15, times yung time niya na t1, right? Ngayon, dito naman sa car 2, pwede natin gamitin yung equation na distance is equal to initial velocity times t plus 1/2 at squared. So, therefore, d sub 2 for car 2 is ano initial velocity natin? 0, right? Then, times t. T yung unknown, yung t2, right? Plus 1/2 a given 2 meter per second square, right? Then, t sub 2 uli squared. Ngayon, sabi natin, para mag-overtake si car 2 sa car 1, D1 dapat equal sa D2. So, pag sinubstitute natin, we have D1 is 15T1 equal si D2 is what? Ito, right? So, 0 times dito parang cancel na. Natira lang ito. So, 1/2, 2 times T squared sub 2, right? Or cancel na to. So, magiging 15T1 is equal to T sub 2 square. Pero meron tayong relationship na T1 is equal to T2 plus 2, right? So, substitute natin. 15 times T1 is T sub 2 plus 2 equals T sub 2 squared. Okay? So, distribute si 15. 15 T sub 2 plus 15 times 2 is 30 equals T sub 2 squared. So, quadratic equation. Transpose natin lahat dito sa right para naka-equate sa 0. So, T sub 2 squared minus 15 T sub 2 minus 30 equals 0. Okay? So, gamit na lang tayo dito ng calculator to solve for T sub 2. Yung mode 5-3 ng calculus natin, right? So, input nyo yung mga numerical coefficients, 1, negative 15, at negative 30. Ano mako-compute nating value? So, dalawa. T2 can be 16.787 or T2 can be negative 1.787. So, dahil itong negative value natin is hindi pwede, ang acceptable lang is itong positive. So, T sub 2 is equal to 16.787 seconds. So, therefore, ito yung hinahanap natin, right? Yung time ni car 2, T sub 2, para ma-overtake yung car 1. So, therefore, the answer is letter B, 16.8. Okay? Next, we have a train changes its speed uniformly from 60 mph or 60 miles per hour to 30 mph or 30 miles per hour in a distance of 1,500 feet. What is its acceleration? Okay, so anong equation ang gagamitin natin dito? So, given kasi tayo ng initial velocity, right? 60 mph. So, VI is equal to 60 mph. And then, final velocity, VF is 30 mph, right? And then, meron din tayong distance equal to 1,500 feet. So, ang hanapin natin is yung acceleration, A. So, pwede natin gamitin yung equation na VF squared is equal to VI squared plus 2AS, right? So, itong S equal to sa distance, right? So, meron tayong final velocity, initial velocity, saka distance S, and then unknown si A. So, pwede nating masolve si A. Pero, ang choices natin is in feet per second squared. Yung given natin is miles per hour. So, para consistent tayo sa unit, i-convert natin itong mga velocity into feet per second. So, dito muna tayo sa VI. 60 miles per hour. So, dapat alam lang natin yung unit of conversion. So, mumultiply natin sa anong conversion factor. So, sa miles, meron tayong 5,280 feet per 1 mile, right? So, makakancel natin yung miles sa denominator. Times sa hour naman, cancel natin yung hour, gawin nating second. So, therefore, meron tayong 1 hour over ilang seconds meron sa 1 hour. 3,600 seconds para ma-cancel yung hour. Ang unit na natin is feet per second. Okay? So, therefore, VI is equal to, multiply lang natin, 60 times 5,280 divided by 3,600 is 88 feet per second. Sakto. Ganon din kay VF, right? So, this time, ang value niya is 30. 30 miles per hour. Times same conversion factor, 5,280 feet per mile, 1 mile, times 1 hour per 3,600 seconds. So, cancel, matitira is feet per second. So, VF is equal to what? 30 times 5,280 divided by 3,600 is, sakto rin, 44 feet per second. So, pwede nating i-substitute. So, final velocity squared is 44 squared equals initial velocity squared is 88 squared plus 2a, distance natin is 1,500 feet. So, consistent na sila sa unit. Ang masasolve nating value dito for a dapat is feet per second squared, right? So, pwede nating i-shift solve o solve natin manually using algebra. Ang masasolve nating value ng a is what? Negative 1.936 feet per second squared. Okay? So, therefore, the answer is letter A. Negative siya kasi ibig sabihin nagde-decelerate siya. Okay? Next, we have a ball is thrown vertically upward from the ground and a student gazing out of the window sees it, moving upward past him at 5 meters per second. The window is 10 meters above the ground. How high does the ball go above the ground? Okay, so free fall. So, draw natin para ma-visualize natin. So, let's say ito yung ground. So, from this ground daw, is tinrow natin vertically upward yung ball. So, let's say pataas, right? Tapos, a student gazing out of the window. So, let's say, meron tayong bahay dito or building, tapos may window dito, may bata. So, nakita niya na nag-pass through dito yung ball sa kanya at this point, sabi with velocity raw, so velocity equal to 5 meter per second. Okay? Tapos, yung window daw is 10 meters above the ground. So, ibig sabihin, kung ito yung mata ng ating observer, yung distance na to will be 10 meters above the ground. Okay? Ngayon, how high does the ball go above the ground? So, syempre, nung nakita ng student yung ball, hindi pa yun yung highest height na na-reach ng ball. Lumagpas-pas sa kanya, right? Let's say, dito yung point na yun. Okay? So, kapag na-reach ng ball yung pinaka-highest peak niya, magkakaroon siya ng velocity equal 0 kasi nag-stop siya doon. Ibig sabihin, pababa na siya uli. Okay? So, ang tanong is itong height na to. Yung pinakamataas na height na na-reach ng ball. Okay? So, paano natin isa-solve ito? So, pwede natin gawin is kuhain natin itong height na to mula nung makita nung student yung ball hanggang ma-reach nung ball yung point na to, yung highest peak na to, let's say H. Then, i-add lang natin dito sa 10 meters. Diba 10 meters din to? So, H plus 10 meter equal yung total height na na-reach nung ball. Okay, so paano natin makukuha yung h? So, applicable din naman yung equation of motion natin dito for free fall. So, ang given natin, balis, pwede natin i-consider na initial velocity ng ball, itong 5 meter per second. And then, final velocity ng ball is itong 0 meter per second. Yung na-reach niya yung peak. And then, dahil free fall tayo, meron tayong gagamitin ditong constant acceleration. Yung G natin will be, dahil yung mga unit natin is meter per second, gamitin natin yung 9.81 meter per second square. Pwede rin siyang 32.2 feet per second square. Kung feet yung ating given sa height. Okay? Ngayon, pwede nating makuha yung h using anong equation? Vf square equals Vi square, or yung V naught, right? V naught square plus 2GH. Yung same sa previous example to, right? So, meron tayong final velocity, 0. Initial velocity, 5. And then, meron tayong acceleration. Pero meron tayong sign convention dito. Kapag upward, yung motion natin, gagamitin natin is negative G. So, upward. Kapag downward, positive. Okay, so negative siya kapag upward kasi against the motion ng gravity natin, right? Pag acceleration due to gravity, pababa. So, therefore, gagamitin natin dito is minus G. Okay, substitute natin. So, Vf squared is 0 squared equals V naught squared, initial velocity is 5 squared, minus 2 times G is 9.81 meter per second squared, then times H. So, solving for h, ang makukuha nating value dito is 1.274 meter. So, para makuha yung pinaka height na na-reach ng ball, maximum height, adan lang natin to ng 10. So, height h, capital H is equal to 1.274 plus 10 or 11.274 meter. So, the answer is letter D, 11.3. Okay? Next, we have a ball is thrown vertically upward with an initial velocity of 3 meter per second from the window of a tall building. The ball strikes the sidewalk at the ground level 4 seconds later. Determine the velocity with which the ball strikes the ground. Okay, so free fall ulit. So, draw natin yung figure para ma-visualize natin kung paano i-solve. So, let's say meron tayong ground. Okay? And then, meron daw tayong window sa isang building. So, let's say ito yung building na yon. Let's say ito yung window. Okay? Ngayon, a thrown is vertically upward with an initial velocity of 3 meter per second from the window. So, dito sa window, in-start, i-throw vertically upward yung ball. So, let's say, tinrown niya at na-reach niya yung maximum height at this point. So, this is the first throwing point for the ball sa window. So, meron daw initial velocity, let's say V naught, equal to 3 meter per second. Tapos, sabi, 4 seconds later daw, na-reach nung ball yung ground. So, ibig sabihin, after niyang ma-reach itong maximum peak, so dahil sa free fall, babalik na siya sa ground pababa. And then, yung total time daw na to, starting yung tinrow yung ball sa window, pababa, is yung total time is equal to 4 seconds. Okay? So, ngayon, determine the velocity with which the ball strikes the ground. So, ano raw yung velocity ng ball habang pababa siya dito sa ground. Okay? So, velocity, So, dahil yung given sa atin is yung total time nung travel ng ball, which is 4 seconds. So, pwede nating hatiin yung 4 seconds into 2. I-consider natin yung time na tinravel ng ball pababa nung na-reach niya yung maximum height, let's say time 2. And then yung unang time niya is nung tinrown siya vertically upward from the window hanggang ma-reach niya itong maximum peak, let's say T1. So dapat T1 plus T2 is equal to 4 seconds, right? So by the way, dito sa maximum peak niya, yung velocity ng ball will be, let's say VF is 0. Kasi nag-stop siya and then bababa na siya ulit sa ground. So, pwede nating masolve dito yung T1, right? Kasi meron tayong final velocity, tapos initial velocity, and then meron tayong acceleration due to gravity, yung G, right? So, may formula tayo doon, di ba? VF is equal to V naught plus GT. Right? So, meron tayong V0, VF, tsaka G. So, dahil upward yung direction ng motion ng ball, gagamitin natin dito is minus GT. Right? Sign convention. So, solving for T1, so, masasolve natin yung time T1 na to. So, VF is 0 equal V0 is 3 minus G is 9.81, right, times T1. So, solving for T1, it is equal to what? Shift solve or solve manually using algebra, it's 0.3058 seconds. Okay? Ngayon, dahil ito yung equation natin for the total time, T1 plus T2 equals 4 seconds, masasolve na natin tong T2. How? So, T2 is 4 seconds minus transpose T1, which is 0.3058 seconds. So, ano si T2? 3.694 seconds. So, ngayon, itong T2 yung gagamitin natin para mahanap natin yung velocity with which the ball strikes the ground. Paano? Same equation. Gamitin pa rin natin to. So, this time, ano yung initial velocity? So, starting point niya is dito, right? Yung maximum point. This time, itong VF natin is magiging initial velocity nung flight ng ball pababa, right? So, therefore, B0 natin is 0. And then, itong final velocity niya is yung hahanapin natin nung ma-reach niya yung ground. So, same equation, VF equals V0 plus GT. So, T2 na to, right? So, VF natin unknown. So, meron tayong V0, initial velocity is 0, right? Plus, so this time, what is the sign? Is it plus or minus? So, dahil pababa na yung travel ng ball, yung motion niya is along na sa acceleration due to gravity. So, positive na. So, plus G, 9.81 times T2. Nakuha na natin yung T2, right? Ito, 3.694 seconds. So, final velocity is equal to 0 plus 9.81 times 3.694. So, ilan yan? 36.238 meter per second. So, therefore, this is the final answer. Letter D. Okay? Next, we have a ball is thrown at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal and lands on the top edge of a building 5 meters high. If the building is 20 meters away, determine the initial velocity of the ball. Okay, so this time, dahil yung thrown na is ball at an angle, projectile angle na siya. So, meron lang tayong general equation of projectile. So, ang formula natin is plus minus y is equal to x tan theta minus gx squared over 2v naught squared cos theta squared. So, ano ibig sabihin ng mga variables natin dito? So, pag ginraw natin yung figure, mapansin nyo sa formula, meron tayong plus minus sa y. Kasi meron tayong dalawang case. So, yung case 1 natin is kapag yung point of impact ng ball is above the point of release. So, let's say, ito yung figure natin doon. Ito yung ground. Let's say, yung object is 3 at an angle. And then, yung point of impact niya is above the point of release. So, let's say, ito yung height na yon. Ito yung y natin doon. So, let's say, with respect sa horizontal, ito yung theta. So, ito yung initial velocity v0. Okay? So, kapag yun yung case natin, gagamitin natin is positive y. So, use positive y. Okay? So, therefore, magiging formula natin doon is ito. So, yung y natin is itong height. Yung theta natin is itong angle with respect dun sa horizontal. Then, ito yung initial velocity v0. And then, yung x is yung distance nung point of release doon sa point of impact. So, ito yon x, right? Okay? Paano naman pag case 2? So, kapag case 2, baliktad naman. So, let's say ito yung ground. So, let's say yung point of release natin is at an height, let's say y. And then, tinrow natin at an angle again with respect to the horizontal, theta, with initial velocity v0. And then, na-reach niya, let's say, itong point na to sa ground. So, ito yung point of impact. So, this time, yung point of impact is below the point of release. So, gagamitin naman natin doon is negative y. So, dito, positive y. Dito, negative y. So, ang formula natin, bale, is ito. Okay? So, same pa rin. Ito yung x natin. Okay? So, dito sa case natin, dahil yung ball is thrown at an angle of 30 degree, so, yung theta natin is 30 degree, right? Ano pa? Lands on the top edge of a building 5 meters high. So, 5 meters high, yun yung y. And then, if the building is 20 meters away, so yun yung x, right? 20. Find the initial velocity. So, yung unknown is v0. So, anong case to? Case 1. Kasi yung point of impact ng ball is below the point of release. So, substitute natin yung value. So, gamitin natin tong formula, right? So, copy ko. So, it's positive. So, y natin is 5 equal x is 20, then tan theta is 30 degree, minus g is 9.81, right? Times x squared, so 20 squared over 2 v0 squared unknown, then cosine of theta squared, so theta is also 30 degree squared. So, meron tayong one unknown in this equation, which is v0. Pwede nating ma-solve manually by using algebra or sheep solve nyo na lang. So, masasolve natin v0 if you use calculator is what? So, initial velocity is approximately 19.989 meter per second. So, the answer is letter approximately B, right? Next, we have a golf ball leaves the golf club at an angle of 60 degree above the horizontal reference with a velocity of 25 meter per second. How high and how far does it go? Okay, so projectile motion again. Kasi mayroong angle with respect sa horizontal yung pag-release ng ball na 60 degree. So, hanapin natin yung maximum height at yung maximum distance. So, pag dinraw natin yung figure, so let's say ito yung ground. Let's say ito yung point of release ng ball. So, meron siyang projectile motion. And then ito yung point of impact. So, let's say ito yung initial velocity v0 natin, equal to 25 meter per second. And then with respect sa horizontal, meron tayong theta na 60 degree. So, yung maximum height natin dito is, let's say, this point. Okay? So, capital H. And then yung range natin, o yung maximum distance is ito. Let's denote as R. So, meron lang tayong formula dito. So, for maximum height H, it is equal to v0 square sine squared theta over 2g. And then, yung range natin R is equal to v0 squared sine 2 theta over g. So, given naman lahat, right? Kasi meron tayong v0 na 25 meter per second. And then, yung theta natin is 60 degree. So, plug in lang natin. So, sa h muna. So, h is equal to v0 square, so 25 square, times sine squared, nung theta natin is 60 degree, over 2 times g is 9.81. So, ilan yan? Using calculator. 23.89 meter. Then, yung range naman natin, this formula, so v0 squared, so 25 square ulit, then sine this time 2 theta. So, theta is 60 degree, divided by G, 9.81. So, ilan yan? 55.17 meter. So, therefore, the answer is H, 23.89 meter, and the range R is 55.17 meter. Letter A. Okay? Next, we have a 50-pound crate starting from rest slides down a plane inclined at an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal. If the coefficient of friction between the crate and the inclined plane is 0.3, how far will the crate move after 3 seconds? Okay, so sige, draw natin yung figure. So, meron daw tayong inclined. So, with theta or angle with respect sa horizontal, 30 degree. And then, meron daw tayong crate na nagre-rest dito sa inclined. So, let's say, ito yung crate natin. So, 50 pound daw siya. So, therefore, yung weight nyo lagi is pointing downward. So, weight is 50 pound. And then, meron din daw tayong coefficient of friction. So, dito sa incline natin, meron tayong mu equal to 0.3. Ngayon, ang tanong is, how far will the crate move after 3 seconds? So dahil meron tayong weight dito sa crate na 50 pounds, yung weight niya is magte-tend na mapaslide down niya yung crate dito sa incline, right? Pababa. So, after 3 seconds daw, so at t is equal to 3 seconds, ano yung magiging distance na na-travel nitong crate? So, let's say mag-move siya ng distance d. Okay? So, ano yung distance na yon? So, mapansin nyo, hindi na siya equilibrium kasi nagkaroon na nga ng motion. Pero, pwede pa rin natin i-apply dito yung summation of forces na dapat hindi na naka-equate sa 0. Dapat equal sa mass times acceleration nung crate. Okay? Kasi meron na siyang acceleration, right? Meron na siyang motion. So, pwede natin i-apply dito yung summation of forces is equal to ma. Both dito sa y, saka dito sa x. Okay? So, kung dati sa equilibrium, ine-equate natin sa 0, this time, sa mass times acceleration na kasi may motion na. So, pag dinraw natin yung free body diagram, so actually, naka-encounter na tayo dito sa review natin for GEAS or ESAS, engineering mechanics naman. Pero, same pa rin naman yung magiging free body diagram natin dito sa incline. So, pag dinraw natin, ito ulit yung ating crate. So, mag-rotate tayo ng axis. So, let's say, ito yung y-axis. Ito yung x-axis. So, yung weight natin is downward, right? So, W is equal to 50 pounds. And then, itong theta natin na 30 degree, dito rin mapupunta yun, right? So, 30 degree din to. So, therefore, ito ilan? 60 degree. So, mapapansin nga, magkakaroon tayo ng vertical at horizontal component nitong weight. Okay? So, itong WX, tapos itong WY. Okay? And then, meron din tayong reaction dito sa incline at crate. Tinatawag natin na normal force. So, upward siya. So, nandito siya sa positive y-axis. And then, meron din tayong friction. So, yung friction is opposite dun sa magiging motion nung crate. So, dahil downward yung magiging direction yung motion niya nung crate, dapat yung friction natin is opposite. So, let's say nandito siya, F. Okay? Redraw lang natin para mas clear yung free body diagram natin. Okay, ito yung x at y axis. So, ito yung normal force. Ito yung weight natin, W equal to 50 pounds. And then, yung theta niya is 60 degree with respect dito sa x-axis. And then, meron tayong friction force dito. Okay? So, pwede na tayong mag-sum up ng force. So, dito muna tayo sa summation of force along y equals ma. So, mapapansin nyo, dito sa y natin, dito sa vertical component ng force natin, wala naman tayong movement, right? Hindi naman mag-move yung crate natin pataas. Stationary siya, right? So, hindi siya nag-move pataas or pababa. So, therefore, yung MA natin dito is 0. Or yung acceleration natin is 0. So, pwede natin gawin is summation of force along y equals 0. So, ano na yung mga force? Sa positive force kapag nasa positive y-axis. So, obviously, yung N, right? And then, negative, etong vertical component ng weight. So, ang formula doon is yung weight times sine nung angle with respect sa horizontal axis ng weight, 60 degree, right? So, wala na. So, equate na sa 0. So, therefore, masasolve natin yung normal force as transpose. So, W sine 60 degree. So, normal is equal to, yung W natin is 50 pound, right? Substitute, then sine 60 degree. So, ilan yun? So, normal force is 25 squared of 3 pound. Okay? Then, dito na tayo sa X. So, summation of forces along x is equal to ma. Right? So, mapapansin nyo, meron na siyang motion. Kasi nga, magsa-slide down na yung crate natin. So, hindi na to 0. Ma na. Okay? Okay, so actually, i-rephrase ko itong summation of force along x equals ma. So, itong ma kasi, equivalent to sa reverse effective force or REF. So, this is called D'Alembert's principle. And then itong reverse effective force, REF, is equivalent siya sa MA. Or, equal din siya sa W over G times A. Kasi itong mass is equivalent sa W over G, right? Okay? Pero, the proper way talaga is, sa free body diagram natin, is i-consider natin yung REF. So, lagi, opposite yung REF sa direction ng acceleration. So, diba, downward yung motion natin. So, therefore, yung acceleration natin dito is pababa. Right? So, therefore, ano yung magiging REF natin? Opposite sa kanya. So, dito rin sa positive x-axis. So, together with the friction, magdadagdag pa tayo dito ng REF. Okay? So that, itong summation of force x equals REF natin is equal to summation of force x minus REF is equal to 0. So, ito yung pwede ring equation natin for the D'Alembert's principle. So, sum up natin yung mga force. So, sa x-axis tayo titingin. So, meron tayong horizontal component ng weight W. Ito, right? Nasa negative x-axis. So, negative. So, formula for horizontal component of force, negative, magnitude ng weight times cosine ng angle niya, which is 60 degree. And then, positive, nasa positive x-axis yung friction, right? F, plus itong REF natin. Equal siya sa REF or ito nga yung W over G times A. So, wala na. So, equate na natin sa 0. Okay? So, by the way, itong F natin, may formula tayo na coefficient of friction times normal force. So, pag sinubstitute natin, we have negative W cosine 60 degree plus mu N plus W over G times A equals 0. So, therefore, substituting the values, W is 50, right? Cosine 60 degree plus mu. Ano yung mu natin? 0.3. 0.3, then normal force na kuha natin is 25 square root of 3. Plus, W is 50 pound ulit over G. Isa nung gagamitin natin G. Gamitin natin yung 32.2 feet per second squared. Then, unknown yung A, right? Equal 0. So, masasolve natin dito yung A. So, anong value ng A? A is equal to 7.734 feet per second squared. Okay? Ngayon, ano yung gamit nitong A? Masasolve natin ngayon yung distance traveled nitong crate by using this A. Using equation of motion na ano. So, distance is equal to V naught T, so initial velocity times time, plus 1/2 AT squared, right? So, meron tayong initial velocity na ano, dahil yung crate is initially at rest naman, right, bago siya mag-move, so V naught natin is 0. So, 0 times T, so T natin yung given is T is equal to 3 seconds, right? So, 3 plus 1/2, yung A na nakuha natin is 7.734, then T squared, so 3 squared. So, pag sinolve natin to, using calculus na makukuha nating distance. So, D is 34.803 feet. So, the answer is letter. Okay, so wala sa choices. Okay, pero ang tamang sagot is should be 34.803 feet. Next, we have a 5 kg block is moving at a speed of 3 meter per second. What is the force required to bring the block to a stop in 8 times 10 raised to negative 4 second? Okay, so pwede natin gamitin dito yung impulse-momentum relationships. So kasi yung impulse is equal siya sa change in momentum. So meron tayong formula for impulse as what? Force times time, right? And then, change in momentum. So yung momentum natin, yung formula natin is mass times velocity. So therefore, change in momentum is equal to mass times yung final velocity minus mass times initial velocity. Or pag finactor out natin, mass times Vf minus V naught. Okay? So we have Ft times mass times Bf minus V naught. So ano yung given natin? Meron tayong mass, right? Ano yon? 5 kg. Substitute. Then, dahil yung tanong natin is what is force is required to bring the block to a stop, ibig sabihin yung final velocity natin is 0 kasi nag-stop siya. Minus, ano yung initial velocity? So, the block is moving at a speed of 3 meter per second, right? So, yun yung initial velocity. And then, yung force pala yung unknown. So, F. And then, yung time. So, yung duration ng time natin is 8 times 10 raised to negative 4 second. So, masasolve natin dito sa equation si F using algebra, manually, or using calculator shift solve. So, ano makukuha nating value? So, F is negative 18,750 Newton. So, kuhain lang natin yung magnitude which is 18.8 kilonewton, right? Letter A. Okay? Next, we have two masses collide on a frictionless horizontal floor and in perfectly inelastic collision. Mass 1 has 4 times of mass 2. Velocity of mass 1 equals 10 meter per second to the right, while velocity of mass 2 equals 20 meter per second to the left. What is the velocity and direction of the resulting combined mass? Okay, so example to ng conservation of momentum. So, draw natin. So, let's say meron tayong frictionless horizontal floor. So, meron daw tayong dalawang masses or body. Let's say, mass 1 and mass 2. So, meron din silang corresponding initial velocity 1 at initial velocity 2. Okay? Ngayon, meron tayong case before collision. Kasi magko-collide sila, right? So, meron tayong value. Yung mass 1 daw, bale is 4 times ng mass 2. Okay? Tapos, yung initial velocity nitong mass 1 before collision is given 10 meter per second to the right. So, may sign convention sa velocity. Kapag positive, to the right. So, gamitin natin, to the right is positive 10 meter per second for V1 nung mass 1. And then, sa V2 naman, given na 20 meter per second to the left. So, V2 is 20 meter per second to the left. So, negative. Negative 20 meter per second. Okay? Ngayon, ang tanong is what is the velocity and direction of the resulting combined mass? So, magko-combine daw sila as a single mass. So, kapag nag-collide na sila after collision, so, di ba magtatama sila dito. Let's say sa point na to. Okay? Nagtama na sila, so mass 1, mass 2. So, nag-combine sila as a single mass. Okay? Ngayon, ano raw yung magiging velocity nito? So, hindi tayo sure kung magiging to the left or to the right. So, kukuhain natin base dito sa bubuo nating equation. So, kapag positive yung nakuha nating velocity ng combined mass natin, to the right. Kapag negative naman, to the left. Okay? So, gagamitin natin yung law of conservation of momentum equation. That is, summation of momentum before collision equals summation of momentum after collision. So, we have, before collision, sum up natin yung momentum. So, M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to, dahil magko-collide sila as a single mass, magiging M1 plus M2 times 1 single velocity na lang kasi isang body na sila, right? So, substitute natin yung values. So, M1 is 4M2. So, magiging, in terms of M2 tayo dito. So, M1, substitute ko as 4M2 times yung initial velocity niya na positive 10 meter per second. Plus, ano si M2 at is. So, magiging in terms of M2 yung equation natin, right? And then, ano yung initial velocity niya? Negative 20 meter per second. Equal. So, M1 plus M2, yung M1 gagawin kong in terms of M2. 4M2, right? Then, plus M2 times unknown V. So, magiging ano tayo dito? 4 times 10 times M2 is 40M2. Then, M2 times negative 20 is negative 20M2. Equals 4M2 plus M2 is 5M2 times unknown V. So, 40M2 minus 20M2 is 20M2 equals 5M2V. To solve for V, divide both sides by 5M2. So that V is equal to 20M2 over 5M2 is 4. So, the unit is 4 meter per second. So, positive siya, ibig sabihin, to the right. Okay? So, the answer is letter B. 4 meter per second to the right. Okay? Next, let's have some objective types of questions. 11. Whenever a net force acts on a body, it produces acceleration in the direction of the resultant force, an acceleration that is directly proportional to the mass of the body. This theory is popularly known as A. Newton's second law of motion, B. Newton's first law of motion, C. Hooke's law, D. Faraday's law. The correct answer is letter A. Newton's second law of motion. 12. To maximize the horizontal range of the projectile, which of the following applies? A. Maximized velocity, B. Maximize the angle elevation and velocity, C. Maximize the angle elevation, D. The tangent function of the angle of trajectory must be equal to 1. The correct answer is letter D. The tangent function of the angle of trajectory must be equal to 1. 13. A collision in which the total kinetic energy after collision is less than the before collision is called A. Off-center collision, B. Inelastic collision, C. Straight-line collision, D. Elastic collision. The correct answer is letter B. Inelastic collision. 14. A measure of a resistance of the body it offers to any change in its angular velocity determined by its mass and distribution of its mass about the axis rotation is known as blank. A. Moment of inertia, B. Friction, C. Torsion, D. Angular acceleration. The correct answer is letter A. Moment of inertia. 15. Centrifugal force is blank. A. Directly proportional to the radius of the curvature, B. Directly proportional to the square of the tangential velocity, C. Inversely proportional to the square of the tangential velocity, D. Directly proportional to the square of the weight of the object. The correct answer is letter B. Directly proportional to the square of the tangential velocity. 16. Momentum is a property related to the object's blank. A. Motion and mass, B. Mass and acceleration, C. Motion and weight, D. Weight and velocity. The correct answer is letter A. Motion and mass. 17. A collision in which the total kinetic energy after collision is the same as before collision is called A. Equilibrium collision, B. Inelastic collision, C. Plastic collision, D. Elastic collision. The correct answer is letter D. Elastic collision. 18. A free-falling body is a body in rectilinear motion and with constant blank. A. Velocity, B. Speed, C. Weight, D. Acceleration. The correct answer is letter D. Acceleration. 19. When two objects collide, which of the following is always true? A. The velocity of each object does not change. B. There is no change in the displacement of each object. C. There is no net change in the kinetic energy of each object. D. There is no net change in the total momentum of the objects. The correct answer is letter D. There is no net change in the total momentum of the objects. 20. The study of motion without reference to the force that causes the motion is known as blank. A. Statics, B. Dynamics, C. Kinetics, D. Kinematics. The correct answer is letter D. Kinematics. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Engineering Board Exam Review, Engineering Sciences for GEAS or ESAS under Engineering Mechanics Dynamics. So, abangan nyo na lang yung next upload ko for Engineering Sciences Board Exam Review for GEAS or ESAS. Okay? So, sana may natutunan kayo sa video na to at maraming salamat sa panonood.